the covenant of love, right? I think we all know the story, how it really came about. It started with the Founding Act in 1914, right? That's when the Father Anthony and the seminarians invited the Blessed Mother to dwell in the little chapel, which is the Schoenstatt Shrine. And again, this was different, right? No apparition, it was an invitation. And again, this is where it starts everything, and the movement starts with that Founding Act. The Covenant of Love is really a consecration to the Blessed Mother, where we exchange our hearts, goods, interests. Again, we entrust her with everything. So when she's invited, once more, she says yes. And she says yes. However, she says yes, and she's given 6 promises and 6 demands. So, 6 promises, it says, it will please me to dwell in your midst. I will distribute abundant gifts and graces. I will attract young hearts to myself. I will educate them. I will make them suitable instruments entrusting themselves in my hands. So the promises, just telling you exactly, again, what she will be giving you, in your midst. Then the 6 demands: prove to me, first by deeds, that you truly love me. Increase your striving to the highest degree. Not only the great, but the most sublime must be the object of your efforts. Fulfill your duties faithfully. An intense life of prayer. Frequent contributions to the capital of grace. Again, this is when, once you seal that covenant and understanding those promises and those demands, that's what you really strive for. And that's how your relationship starts, really, with the Blessed Mother. Again, after making, when I sealed my covenant of love, again, this was all, I had already consecrated myself, like, again, with Father Daly's 33 days of morning glory. But then, like a year later, this is when I sealed my covenant of love, which that, again, for me, that was going deeper. That's, after the consecration, I said, there has to be something more that you can live this relationship. And that's when I found out about Schoenstatt. And I said, this is exactly, because I had already noticed a change, again, with the presence of the Blessed Mother in my life. So once I sealed the covenant of love, then it took it to a whole new other level. And this is when I started kind of spending more time. And at the beginning it was really subtly, like it wasn't like right, like she's right here. I called it like whispers, like little whispers. Mm-hmm. Again, little words here. Sometimes something happens and you're going, that's not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. So it's, again, her way of just kind of like being with you. She doesn't force herself, right? She's there. She's there for you. So like any other relationship, the more you spend time with that person, right? That relationship really, again, develops. And that's when you start trusting. That's when you start really confiding. And that's, again, it grows. And that's exactly what happens with the Blessed Mother. The more you spend time with her, the more you'll feel her presence. And again, and that's no matter how, again, could be celebrating something. And of course, I open the door and that's where she is, coming out of the master. And there she is, good morning. So that's the first person that, good morning, and there she is. And then, again, but by the same token, when I'm down and when something is, not going well, that's where I go and I stand and sometimes I just look at her. Again, no words needed. Why? Because with that relationship, she knows your heart. So sometimes that conversation happens from heart to heart. And and that's when you start going back to the graces from the shrine, right? Excuse me. The first grace is from the shrine is home, shelter. Exactly, and that's how you start feeling that grace. Because now you feel like you have a place where you can be, when you can go, you feel protection, right? And not only that, you know that you can stay there and you can talk to her, maybe not, but it's like, it is good to be here, period. And regardless that it's your home, of course it's good to be, there. However, with that, with her, again, to me, it never gets old. But again, going back to the promises, one, meaning that she will educate us, right? Well, when you know that she's there and you feel her presence and you know that she is walking with you and you don't want to disappoint her, like I do. Like I want to strive to be a better person and try to live those, right? Those demands. Order to be. So again, that's when you really try to go and again make a difference. And make a difference is that's when the inner transformation happens, because you do everything again thinking of her with love, even that chore that you don't really care for, and you offer it, right? And you say, well, here's for you. Not necessarily that I want to do it, but do it with love. And that's how, again, because of that inner transformation that is taking place, because you, again, do not want to fall short or disappoint her, which we do. And again, she is not there to judge. Actually, she's there to pick you up, carry you, hold your hand. So, but again, at least for me, it's just knowing it's like I try my best. And that's what we need, like I need to, remember that, yes, I will make mistakes. But then again, that's why, she's there to hold my hand and say, it's okay, we'll do better. And we'll try to really, that's what I do. But then again, when that transformation happens, little by little, and I'm not saying it's not perfect. Sorry.
There goes fast.
When that transformation happens, that's what happens then when you go out, and that's the apostolic, right? Fruitfulness. Because you're consistent. What you do at home, and it starts at home, right? Same, Teresa of Calcutta said it. When you want to start at home. Because usually, when we go out, we try to be nice and friendly, and then at home, they're the ones who we have to rally the back and the other. Just because, I don't need to. Well, you do, because that's where you start. So, again, we're striving to really be the best versions of ourselves, right? Whom God created us to be. And she is, again, the perfect match for that. I'm not saying that we won't have trials and pain and suffering. Yes, it's part of life. That's what it is. But remember what's taking place, and that's why the spirituality of Schoenstatt is so rich and so, again, that you can spend time and time after time, that this is for this life and beyond. So you're starting here, living the kingdom, right? With her. So, They're saying, so nothing without, nothing without her,
Nothing without her.
nothing with. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Am I answering her?
No, you're
I'm up
next. Yes,
Okay.
you're next.
All right.
You're next.
I brought some props with me, so hold on. James going to operate the camera for me. I've got some slides too to share with you. Okay. My part is to go review like an example of capital grace, the vase, how it's set up in your shrine, and I have mine. And just for a reminder, if you haven't seen the one out here by the Wayside Shrine, it's a beautiful setup that Jen and the girls have set up. Okay. So let me get to my footnote. I'm going to get to my notes here. Okay. So I'm getting IT. Okay, they're teaching, my kids are teaching me. Okay. I'm in a slow learner course though, to be honest with you. Okay. So, Father Carlos mentioned that, when we had met, when he was introducing me. And so, I got interested in it because I remember, first I met Father Shea. He was doing like a mini retreat at church you guys had set up.
Right.
And I said, I'm going to go to this because I'd seen the pictures of Our Lady of Schoenstatt, and I did this long before I met everybody here. I was really attracted to that photograph because the way Jesus and her were both looking at me. I felt they were looking at me. A lot of pictures when you have them, either Jesus is looking down or to the side of his mom, she's looking at you, or she's looking down and he's looking at you. But this one kind of grabbed me because they're both looking at me. I got a double whammy there. So that's why, and I bought that picture. And then, of course, I met Father Carlos, and he took me, I wanted to know more about it, and I attended a little mini retreat with him. So I wanted to just share how I started getting involved in it, because I wanted to understand more the capital grace, how that worked, what that meant, how do we do it. And so he took me through a lot of that process. And so, go to the first picture, okay. This is the little form that I got from Jenny one time, and it's not very big. It's only about that size. This is the one that I use on a daily basis and throughout the day sometimes. I will write in here and explain to you. Basically, I thank you for, most of the time it's graces of salvation. I really appreciate what you've done for me and the family. And here is what I'm offering you. And again, we're looking at our sacrifices, our prayers, what our needs are, what we feel family needs, mostly spiritually. And then that's what I ask for. And then I ask for maybe special graces for a special thing going on. For example, on my wife's side of the family, she has a great niece, okay? And 4 months old, she had to have open heart surgery. Mm-hmm. So we took a picture of her. You'll see, I'll have a picture on the shrine. And so I started writing, for Our Lady to give her the graces, especially as a family who was going through a lot of trauma themselves, having to deal with this infant, this child that has to have open heart surgery. And so there's a lot of stress on them. So those are things I've asked for. So it might be something that I had met during the day before yesterday, because let me back up. Normally I do it in the morning. So I like to get up in prayer. The family usually we get rolling and saying around 7 o'clock. We get up, shower, get ready for Mass, and so forth and so on. So I like to be in there about 5:30, and we're saying the prayers. I'm saying I have a list of prayers to do, a chaplet or a rosary with Our Lady. And so then I'll do my capital grace at that time in the morning. Now, the beauty about having home shrine too is, I'm leading into the capital graces here, but is that something may have happened at Mass, or something happened. I visit the hospital with one of my, giving communion to the patients, and something happened maybe with one of the patients. So during the day, when you have a home shrine, you get to pop in like every 5 minutes. Because this is where Our Lady is throned, and so I get to pop in and communicate with her. And I may add another one. I may add another capital grace to the vase. For maybe this particular patient, whether they were struggling, whatever our conversation was about, okay? So in the next picture, now you'll see if you ever visit a Wayside Shrine, again, about the same size, here's another version of it. Now here's the Spanish, and go to the next one. They're, and the backside's in English, and they're right out here. So it's a lot of times when they're visiting, you'll see them all the time, people visiting, they'll write their capital graces, and then on the 18th of the month, they're collected, and with the other families who are attending, and I'll come back to that in a minute, in a couple more minutes, more detail about the capital grace base that's out there. So again, it helps you right there. I thank you for, I offer you, and I ask you for. In this great right here, it says they have no more wine. Isn't that great slogan right there? I just love that. And, back, Our Lady again intervening and helping us with our relationship with God. It's a beautiful thing. And so, let's go to the next picture. So when we started, this was my first vase. So the thing is, you get going, And so this was at that seminar we had. I think Jen, you passed them out, and this is what I use for my grace, for putting my graces in there. And then we expanded from there. You'll see my shrine that I have now wasn't the shrine that I started with in 22. It's going to be a lot different, as you'll see. And so my shrine grows too with articles. And one of the things we grew was the next slide is this is where I keep my paper, and then the next slide, and then there's my new vase. Okay, so because I started getting a lot in there. Thank you card. Someone might give me a thank you card, and I'll put that in the vase there to offer on the 18th for that person. I want graces to come to that person, okay? Or someone that came by the house, all right? So that's what it looks like today. But it didn't look like that in the beginning. So my point is, don't worry about what it looks like or who else has it. Just start your way. Just start doing it. Just start developing that relationship with Our Lady. And she'll take you through it. She'll grow that shrine with you, okay? Then let's go to the next one. So here's our home shrine today. Okay? So trust me, this is a 4 to 5 year project, okay? And when I said it grows, I mean it grows, okay? So what I wanted to do was, I really wanted to make a replica of the original shrine in Germany with all this wood and everything. So that's what I did. I mean, it took a while. I mean, some of this wood came from Pennsylvania, from a special shop. The wings here from Mexico. The covenant, the cross, the unity cross is from Ecuador. Okay, so there's pieces from Russia and China, and so it all comes together. So it grows. So this is going to say, okay, I'm going to decide to do it, and all of a sudden next week I've got it. You just start with what it goes. My original one was just a picture with our candles that we made on the 18th of the covenant law. I had the candles in there, the medals that you saw right here. This was one of the first editions that I did with that one. Okay, then you see here we have candles from where we made the covenant up here, and then you'll see the individual candles, and then Peggy's. She's on this side and I'm on this side. Okay, okay, and so that grew, and you'll see right here. Sheila talked about the third promise, bring young hearts. So right here, this cross right here was given to me by my son and daughter. And so I want her to give them special graces. I want them to come to her. And so she's in my capital graces on a daily basis in there. They're in there. And then off to the side, you can't really see them very much, but there's little different holy reminders for my grandchildren, like my Catherine right there. My youngest one gave me this heart that says how much she loves me. And then we have like a St. Teresa medal for my one granddaughter who has a devotion to St. Teresa. And we have all these right here, and I have a miraculous medal for great-great-grandchildren that I'll never know. So I can pray I pray for my lineage in the future. I not only pray for the past, but I pray for the future. So they have graces. Okay? I hope I'm in heaven when this is happening. I'll, kind of encourage our Lord to do it more. But anyway, with all those little holy reminders are right there, and they go onto my capital grace sheet almost every day. I have something going on there, something they may have going on at school, or something going on in their life to give them special graces to get through what they're going through. And then we have, another thing that I do on my capital graces is I pray for the religious, the priest. So you can't see it right here, but on this side right here is a picture. Father Carlos is right here. So I have a godson that's a priest. He's on the Roosevelt right now. He's in the Middle East, so I'm praying for him a lot. Okay? So, and then this Carmelite deacon is going to be ordained next year, so he's like an adopted son for Peggy and I. And so we have all the priests right here that I pray for every day. And they're on the capital grace list. So we put them in there every day. So all these grew because of who I started praying for. So that's how it grew. Now, you always say the prayer to Michaelangelo, and here's our guardian angels. Here's Peggy's and here's mine. Okay, so that all became part of the shrine, and so it will grow with you. And this is someone's shrine right here, right? This is someone's right here. Yeah. Now this is basically what I started with, very similar to this, and then it moved into this. This was probably had this for something like this for almost 2 years before I got into this. So it's in our office / prayer room, and you go in there and our lady's thrown, she's thrown in there, and you just feel the presence of her. When people come to visit the house, they go, oh wow. And we've had people come by, they just want to stop by, they come by and say a rosary or prayer. Sometimes we're visiting. The woman who watches our dogs, she comes in there and she'll say her rosary. She said, can I say a rosary? I said, yes, you can. He said, you can even do the capital grace. There they are right there. There's their paper, and put her in there. Okay? And so we tied them in there, and so a lot of people, I had a guy that stage 4 cancer came by, and he spent some time in there. That was really touching. Really, really touching. So he's in that capital grace a lot on these. So wanted to show you that. And then let's go to the next one. So as you'll learn, we have the covenant burn. So on the 18th, so today's the 18th, so today we'll have a mass at 7 o'clock. And then after that, here's my grace now for the last month. They'll go in there with about 5 or 6 vases that Jenny will have set up there. And then Father Carlos will offer that up as part of the Mass. It's really a beautiful thing. It's a traditional thing. When you go back into Hebrew culture, they did that whole concept 2, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago. Okay, so it's offering to God your willingness, your partnership to have a relationship with Him. It's really a beautiful thing, and so we have that. I really like that a lot. Yeah, time out?
Yep. 2 minutes to wrap up.
Oh, is it now?
That's it, 2 minutes to wrap up.
Oh, we got to wrap up? 2 minutes to wrap up? I thought I had 15 minutes. Okay, hold on, let's see. All right, so anyway, they're cutting me off. Okay. Okay, so anyway, so let's go to the next slide then. Let's just finish with the slides here. Okay? So, and this is, if you haven't had a chance, you should visit our Wayside Shrine, and you'll see where Jenny's got a vase set up right there, and here's a little capital graces to fill out. Okay, you put them in there, and they get burned on the 18th of the month. Next slide. And I have these, there's a close-up shot of it. Next slide. And so a lot of times if the church is open, people, find people who will go in there and they'll have little capital grace they're writing right before the Blessed Sacrament. What a great place to have to write your capital grace. And then they'll go back outside and put it in a cup. Okay, so I wanted to show that. So next picture, and I just occurred. Okay, all right, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Hey, you're in here.
You're in. You're out.
Come in.
See,
You have 25 minutes, no, just
No.
Hi, my name's Aurora. I believe you probably know me. But I'm from St. Rita, and I'm very honored to be here, and kind of nervous. But anyway, I'm going to talk about my home shrine, okay? How I came about to do my covenant of love, okay? Like Sheila, I had done my 33-day, but like I wanted more. And I found Father Carlos on YouTube. I found the covenant of love, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is what I want, to keep going, not just to, you finish your 33 days and that's it. On this one, I found that there was so much more that I could do, and plus to be transformed, to, so much more to give for me. My home shrine is called, I'm going to say it in Spanish and then I'll say it in English. Reina de la Paz y Armonía. Our Lady of, Queen of Peace and Harmony. Okay? Because I did need a lot of peace. I do need a lot, we all need a lot of peace, but I need a lot of peace. And when I did my covenant of love, I found that peace. I found it. And I found how when I brought her to my house, you know, I went crazy, okay? I went crazy. I bought everything. But what I did not realize is that you have to conquer everything. So I've conquered almost everything, you know. In Michael, I've done the novenas, I've done all that, I've conquered. But it's a beautiful experience that you have with there, like they say, you know, you go in there and you offer your prayers, you know, and I have plus a little book, and they gave me an idea, Tom gave me an idea about my little book. I'm gonna make copies and every day I'm gonna put it there because when I go to Mass, I offer all these prayers for all these people. I take out my little book and I pray. So I'm gonna be offering it to my capital of Christ also, I mean. But anyway, when I did my covenant, you know, it brought me peace, and my home shrine is like, you know, it's like, you know, start your day, you pray. You know, at night you write your, you know, your day, your good things, your bad things, you know, the things that you're having hard time with, you write those down. And then in the morning, you drink your coffee, and you sit there, and you're like, okay, this is what, you know, what happened. Like, and I've heard Jenny talk about this a lot of times, you know. And but anyway, I'm so happy that it moves me, and I feel like the transformation, the inner transformation, and also I feel that that I'm like, you know, how to go out and spread the word, you know, tell people about Our Lady, and about how, you know, how she transformed your life, and how she makes you feel good, and how, you know, your prayers are, and then the good thing about it is that what I love is that she brings you closer to Jesus, you know, and like the picture, you know, Jesus right there, and you know, she's holding him, and you know how he feels, you know, how he feels, and that's how we want to be, you know, because we feel like that in our home, you know, we can be like that. But anyway, and I'm not really a good speaker or anything, but in closing, basically, I'm going to start closing. In closing, I think we all should share the graces. That's what the last one is. The last one is apostolic seal. We should share with people our seal for the Blessed Mother and our covenant of love. That more people can experience that and can live it, because you don't want to keep something that's good to yourself. You want to share it with people. And that's how I feel, you know, because like when I find something, if I find a priest that I really like on YouTube, I share it because I want other people to learn. So with this, the apostolic seal is very, very good. It's a gift. We don't keep the gifts to ourselves. You know, you share it for other people, because everybody, we all need a lot of prayer, and we all need to have something that brings us peace. And for me, I wanted peace, and I feel the peace all the time. You know, I feel peace, and even in turmoils and whatever I go through, like Sheila says, you know, you go through and you walk. Like last night, I was like, okay, waiting for people to bring me stuff, you know, for today, and then I was like, what am I going to say tomorrow? I said, you know what, Mother, you tell me what I have to say, and you know, and that's basically all that I have to say. Other than to me, I feel like it has changed my life. I think it has changed my life, and I'm so thankful to Father Carlos, because I found him on YouTube. Thankful to YouTube, and then I was like, oh, this is what I want. I want something to continue, not to just do my 33 days and that's it. And this is what is really beautiful about this, that you continue moving forward. You don't stay there, you know, you keep on going until, like Tom says, you know, you build from something and you built it bigger, you know, you built it bigger, as big as you want. And, but the most important thing is that you realize that you going out and telling people and living your covenant of love. And that's the one important thing, is not just tell your covenant of love, it's to live it. Live it. Every day do your capital of grace, do it. Go on the 18th, you know, burn it, offer it up, because that's what's going to keep you going and keep you more focused and more more peace. For me, it was peace, you know, and everybody has a different name to their shrine. And to me, peace that's what I want. Thank you.